everyone, I'm Nori. I'm the maternal child health worker for Prince George, and today we're going to be making a mixed berry jam. I also have my friend here to help us.
Hi, I'm Amy. I work for Carriers County Family Services as well. I work in the payroll department.
So we have here our freshly picked berries, or you can use frozen berries, whatever you prefer. We're going to use approximately 2 cups of each, and we're going to mix them into this bowl here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reduce them down a little bit, squish them. You can use a blender, you can use a potato masher, fork, whatever you have on hand. But today, for the ease of things, Amy and I have freshly washed our hands, and we're just going to squish them the fun way. It does not feel the best, but it is quite easy. No special utensils required. If you are a person that has sensory issues, you can also use the blender or the food processor, like I said before, because it does feel quite gross. So now that we have our bowl with all of our smushed fruit, just be warned, if you do use frozen berries, it will freeze your hands a little bit. So our hands are now clean, and we're ready to discuss the equipment that you need for canning. Sometimes it can be overwhelming because you think you need a lot of fancy equipment and you actually don't. A good stock pot, a thick pot that you can put on your stove and fill with hot water, or fill with water and then bring it to a boil. I have that on the stove right now, ready to go. You don't need a special insert if you don't have one. And Amy has a really good tip for what she does.
Yes. So when I'm canning without a canner, I use these rings and I just lay them. This isn't the pot, but I lay them in the bottom of the pot like that. And I fill it up, and then I put my jars in. And it protects the bottom of the jars from smashing together and from getting too hot on the bottom of the pot. And yeah.
Good tip.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I learned that from Amy today. It's awesome. So a couple other things that we have that you can use to get the stuff out of the pot. I do have some canning tongs. You can use regular tongs. You could use I don't know, what else would you use to get it out of the pot? What do you use, Amy?
I have a big silicone glove.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Resistant, and I just grab, and then I have a tea towel in my hand, and I go like that, and then make sure I put them gently down so that it doesn't break the seal.
Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to start measuring 6 cups of our crushed fruit into our pot. Amy's going to do that.
This smells so good.
It does smell really good.
3. Hopefully don't make a mess. 4. 5.
Oh, not too bad. That was pretty close, eh?
6. I can adjust later.
6-ish cups of crushed fruit. So now that we have this in our pot, we are going to add our sugar. Another little tip is if you can find the low pectin, low sugar Certo, that's a healthier option, especially for people that have diabetes, because you just have to, I think it calls for either only 1 cup of sugar, or you can also use a cup of pure apple juice as your sweetener. Today, because we couldn't find any of the low sugar Certo, we're going to add the ton of sugar to
Obscene
it.
amount.
It's so much sugar. It calls for 7 cups of sugar, so we're going to add that to our mixture.
So we have our mixed berries on the stove now. We're going to bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, we are going to add our 7 cups of sugar and 1 box of Cerdo. Make sure to keep stirring this constantly or you will burn your jam. and it tastes like smoked jam. I've had smoked strawberry jam before. It's not very good.
So as you can see, our fruit medley here is come to a boil, and Amy is going to continue stirring and add the 7 cups of sugar and our Cerdo to that mixture. It's okay. Just keep stirring. And we're going to bring it back to a boil and let that boil for a minute so that all of the sugar and the Cerdo dissolves into the mixture. Another tip and trick that we have is a lot of recipes will call for you to skim the top of the mixture. Sometimes it'll get a little frothy, and one thing that you can do is you can just add a tablespoon of butter to that, or margarine, whatever you have on hand, and it'll keep it from getting all frothy.
I'm just making sure to make sure the lumps are all squished of the sugar.
So as you can see, we have 6 sterilized jars and lids. We've just removed them from our canning pot. We've boiled them for probably about 5 to 7 minutes, and now we're going to add our jam to them. So we have all our ingredients in front of us. We have our pot with our jam that we've removed from the stove, and we have our sterilized jars, and now we're going to use our funnel and we're going to begin to fill the jars. We're going to make sure to leave 1/4 inch at the top for a proper seal to be formed. I'll let Amy fill these, and then I'm going to use this towel and I'm just going to wipe the rim to make sure that there's nothing on them, and make sure the seal will seal properly. So we have some spills just on the inside of the jar. I'm just going to take this towel and wipe it just to make sure that there's nothing left on there, and then the jar will seal. I'm going to take one of our lids, and we're going to make sure that there's no water left behind on it, and we're just going to screw on the lid.
Finger tight, not too tight.
And
Sorry.
And then once they're all filled, we're going to put them in our pot, and we are going to process them for 10 minutes. So here we have our big stop pot. It's full of water. We have a little canning trivet in the bottom that I will have Amy now put all of our jars that are filled with our jam. She'll put them in the bottom, and then we will process them for 10 minutes, and when we remove them, we'll put them on a clean towel on the counter and just wait for the seal to take place.
In a normal canner, you'd have to put them in one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Otherwise it tips.
These ones are already tipped a little bit. And then we will put on our lid and we will process that for 10 minutes. Hey everyone, so here we have our jam. It's all completely finished. It's been processed for 10 minutes, and the lids are already starting to pop to let us know that they're sealing, and they should taste really yummy. Thanks for joining us, Amy.
Welcome anytime.
Okay.